Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all keeping good. I've got a big fight with Marius coming up on April the 26th, so keep your eyes peeled on the channel for tickets and pay-per-view for that. But on the process of getting up to that fight, I've done a number of diets and changed up my exercise regime to try and drop some body fat and just feel better within myself. One of those diets was the Carnivore diet, where you basically just eat meat, eggs and dairy for a certain amount of time. I did that diet for 90 days, but the maggots didn't like it. Greg Doucette came out of the woodwork and decided to do a debunk video on me, and let's just watch the video and get stuck into it. Firstly, let's just get into the name calling, because everyone seems to love to take the piss out of Greg Doucette's name. Sorry, Greg Doucette's name. So let's just get it out of the way. We've got douchebag, douchette, douchat, douche fuckall, douche. There we go. That's it. We got it out of the way anyway. I just thought it was just fair to get it out of the way nice and early instead of just keep chucking it in the video. So let's get the video up and let's just hit play and let's call out Greg Doucette's BS.
You're over 30%.
Eddie is obese, nearly morbidly obese. But listen, you didn't talk about the steroids.
Oh, right, okay. Well, let's stop there, Greg. I mean, calling a man morbidly obese and then using footage from him when he was nearly 100 pounds heavier, it's a bit of bullshit in it, that, mate. He's used a clip of me there doing a 500 kilo deadlift where I was over 400 pounds in body weight. And morbidly obese, geez. I mean, I'm 350 pounds right now, and I can tell you now, I don't feel morbidly obese. I run a mile in under 7 minutes. I can swim a mile in 22 minutes. I can cycle, I can fight. I'm fighting 4-minute rounds. Like, I'm fit. Like, I know I am fitter than 99% of the population. I know that for a fact. I can hand on heart honestly say that without a doubt. I am fitter than 99% of the population. How can a man that is that fit be morbidly obese? It just doesn't make sense. But anyway, and by Greg, what the? Have you got like a voice box stuck in the back of your throat or something? You sound like that fucking dinosaur off Toy Story.
I think I'm just coming off as annoying.
Right, let's carry on anyway. I don't know how the I'm gonna watch this entire video. Sends shivers up my spine, that voice does. I feel sorry for his missus. Jesus Christ. There's no way she is with him for his looks, or his personality, or his voice.
How you doing, Rex?
So he must have a massive dick. It must be humongous. Or he's got loads of money. Probably the latter.
Coach Greg, in today's video, I'm calling out Eddie Hall.
Bruh.
I'm sorry, Eddie, but you made and posted a video, and you said you went from 28% body fat to 20% body fat. And you...
Okay, I'll stop you there, Greg. It was actually 27.1% to 20%. So you've lied already. Bullshit. So let's just get that right straight off. So you added a percent on out of nowhere.
You did so from eating steak for 90 days. But listen, you didn't talk about the steroids. I mean, I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. Well, no, everyone's thinking you don't need to actually follow that diet, that you could add vegetables and fruits and you still would have lost the weight. Consider this. You went from 370 to 350 while dropping 8% body fat. And so while depleting... 7% body fat. And if I actually dive into the video, I very openly say that the calipers aren't accurate. I was probably more like 25. And I very openly say, you know, there's a good chance it could have been 2% either way. So he's just talking shit. Anyway, your glycogen stores, having no carbs and so on, you managed to put on 14 pounds of muscle while dropping...
How does he work that out? Where's he got putting on 14 pounds of muscle from? He just made that up? For fuck's sake.
Dropping 33 pounds of fat. Let's just watch.
I've been on 33 pounds of fat. I didn't say 33 pounds of fat. Pretty sure I didn't. Pretty sure that I lost 20 pounds overall, 9 kilo. So I lost 20 pounds overall. So where the f has he got 14 pounds of muscle and 33 pounds of fat from? He just makes shit up. Just suit his own narrative to get his dramatized video to get more views and clickbait. Just fucking drop that squeaky little fucking voice as well. F me. carnivore diet for 3 months. I feel absolutely incredible.
Is he feeling incredible from the steroids, the cycle that he's on, or is it from losing 20 pounds? And so is it from cutting out the fruit?
Why does Greg keep mentioning steroids? Put this in ChatGPT, hang on. Why does Greg Doucette know so much about steroids? Greg Doucette knows so much about steroids because he has been an historic abuser of anabolic steroids throughout his bodybuilding and powerlifting career. Key reasons for his knowledge on steroids: personal experience and abuse. Greg openly admits to using steroids for years to enhance his performance in bodybuilding and in powerlifting. His personal use gave him first-hand experience with different compound cycles and side effects. Number 2, he was caught selling steroids. Gregory, have we unlocked something here? Have we bought something out the closet? Or is this, I didn't know this. Jeez. In 2010, he was caught and prosecuted in Canada for smuggling and distributing anabolic steroids. At one point, he was selling steroids worth $250,000, leading to criminal charges. Most of the steroids he sold were counterfeit and fake.
Great, now I have guilt!
Oh, f***ing hell, Greg. Just like you, your personality, and any product you put your name to, you have just outed yourself, sir. Let me read that again. Most of the steroids he sold were counterfeit and fake, which means he also learned about how fake steroids circulate in the black market. Yes, because of f***ing pricks like you selling dirty, horrible fake snake oil to your friends, no doubt, and telling them it's going to make them massive and anabolic and lose weight and put muscle on and whatever else. You snaky bastard.
Well, yeah, no, I don't like confrontations!
Right, anyway. Enough on that. Fake steroids, Jesus Christ. You can't even sell the real stuff. You have to sell the fake shit because you are a dirty snake, you bastard. Anyway. Bodybuilding and powerlifting background. Greg is an IFBB pro bodybuilder and record-holding powerlifter. Okay, fair play. So he's got records, I would imagine, world records, I don't know. Both of which are industries where steroids are widely used. Competing in both tested and untested federations. Well, definitely not the tested, let's get that right. Gave him insight how steroids impact performance. Education in kinesiology. Sorry if I butchered that. He has a master's degree in kinesiology, which gives him a scientific understanding of muscle growth, recovery, and PED effects. This allows him to explain steroids from a research-based perspective, not just anecdotal. It also gives him great knowledge and understanding of how to fake steroids. So he went to university to get a master's degree to sell fake steroids.
Mr. Light here, now I'm curious. What does a Space Ranger actually do?
Greg, coaching and mentoring athletes. Greg has coached hundreds of athletes, both naturally enhanced, giving him experience in the management cycles. Can you imagine hiring Greg as a personal trainer? F me. As part of the package, do you get headphones? So you can't hear his fucking squeaky, horrible voice? At least come with fucking earplugs, Jesus.
But later, Brandon would accuse Greg of being a terrible coach, charging way too much for his services, saying that he didn't change his plans enough and that he didn't listen to him.
He warns against excessive steroid use, advocating for hormone replacement therapy and lower doses instead of reckless abuse. Now that I condone. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Throwing accusations of people doing other than that is pretty dangerous thing to do, though, I must say. YouTube career and natty or not exposure. He's built a YouTube career around calling out fake naturals, breaking down steroid cycles, and educating people on PEDs. His natty or not videos are some of the most popular on his platform. Well, of course, everyone loves drama, don't they? Everyone loves a little drama queen selling fake steroids all over Canada and then getting outed on the internet. Everyone loves that shit. So Greg Doucette knows about steroids because he has used, sold, and studied them extensively. His experience with personal abuse, legal distribution, formal education, and coaching athletes makes him one of the most knowledgeable and conversational, yes, I can believe that, voices on the subject. Would you like a mem or funny take on this as well? Yes, please. Greg, why do you know so much about steroids? Greg?
Because I saw 250,000 pounds worth of them, and they were all fake.
You little bitch, right, okay. Okay, the fake natty detector. Okay, Greg Doucette looking at a 12-year-old who just hit puberty.
Not f***ing natty.
Bro, I just had a growth spurt.
fake.
Well, these are great. Greg's underground steroid business. Dealer, how much fake gear do you want?
All of it. Let's go.
5 minutes later, officer.
This is just anabolic ketchup.
I could read these all day. Greg's natty or not judging criteria. If you lift weights, not natty. If you look muscular, definitely not natty. If you breathe too heavy, suspiciously probably on trend. You buy steroids from Greg, fake and natty at the same time. Oh, you're getting f***ing rinsed here, bro. We're done. Let's get back to the video.
Vegetables, or I don't know, from cutting out the cheesecake, the ice cream, the pastries, the junk food, and so on. Does anyone think that he couldn't have just went on the I'm gonna stop eating shit food every freaking day diet?
Now, see, Greg, you just pointed out that I ate nothing but shit food every day with a video of me eating burgers and whatever else. Again, just to suit your narrative. It's just a bit dirty, isn't it, bro?
How many people, raise your freaking hands right now, raise the roof, think that this guy is under 20% body fat as he speaks right now? You're gonna debate me. Oh, he's got immaculate blood work. Really? Look at his physique. Let's use the eye test. Do you really think this is 20% body fat? And so if this is 20% body fat, I'd hate to see the before. 27% body fat. You see the size, the roundness of the face. You see the size of the stomach. This ain't 20%. This looks like a bulk gone wrong.
I mean, geez, man. I mean, you look at pictures of me when I was like 16 years old and I was shredded. Just come out the swimming. I was Olympic standard swimmer. 16 years old. I was 100 kilos, so like 225 pounds. And I had a round face, and I was nowhere near 20% body fat, nowhere near. So I've always had a round face. So again, he's just nitpicking at my flaws to suit his narrative. I am currently 159 kilos, so I've lost, quick math, 9 kilos.
Yeah, and so 3 months on a diet when you're 370 pounds and you lose 9 kilos, about 20 pounds. Why do you think that is? Because while he was losing body fat, he was putting on muscle from taking steroids. Does anyone?
Again, we're getting back to steroids. I mean, we all know why I know so much about them. Today, we're going to do a DEXA scan. So
did he literally do this to troll me? Eddie, what are you doing to me right now?
So it's going to give you a composition of what your muscle mass is, what your body fat is, what your bones are, to the decimal, which it does. It might not be accurate. I will agree with that. But it does. At the end of the day, why do DEXA scans exist? Are they just there for fun? Or are they there to actually give people a somewhat accurate measurement of what their muscle mass and bone structure and body fat and whatever else is? I think they're there for a reason.
DEXA scan, he did not say an MRI scan. MRI scan, 100% accurate. DEXA scan, nearly useless. It's a guess. It'd probably be more accurate by asking a child, saying, hey, how fat do you think this guy is? Oh, pretty fat. The child is not guessing 20% body fat.
But Greg's squinty little eyes are guessing more than 20% body fat. So Greg's squinty little snake eyes are more accurate than a DEXA scan. I would rather trust a machine that's been designed by scientists and, German manufacturers over a dirty snake that sells fake steroids. So we're going to find out what my true body fat is today.
Bro doesn't even fit in the machine. Last I checked, you could only be as accurate as the machine or the person testing you. All you need to do is ask Coach Greg. We're going to use Coach Greg's laser eyes to tell you.
You're over 30%.
I know you want to be under 20%, probably want to be single-digit body fat, but you're not. You're going to convince me right now that if Eddie Hall had 0% body fat, that's far leaner than even Sebum, that he would weigh 280. Does anyone think that Eddie Hall would have 5% body fat, roughly as lean as the Mr. Olympia competitors, and weighing at 297 pounds? That he's literally bigger than Samson Dota. Notice a comparison side by side with Samson Dota.
Okay, that's a really good comparison there. But I will say, black people in general just look bigger and more toned. That's just a fact. So he's just compared a 6'2" guy to a 5'10" guy and said, if you shred it up, it's not going to look like that. Of course you're not. Jesus Christ. And let's just check his maths on the body fat. So 350 pounds. 100, times 80, so minus 20%. That would put me at 280 pounds. If I was 0% body fat. So let's say he's right, we do the 5%. So let's do 350 divided by 100 times 85, that would put me at 5% body fat. 297, 300 pounds. That's reasonable. I mean, that's reasonable. You know, I'm a big tall guy. You know, I had a lot of muscle mass. I've got thick legs, thick waist. I think that's very reasonable.
Has Samson Dauda ever looked that bad in his life? No.
We're also going to be meeting with Phil Richards, who is one of the best blood work doctors in the country. It's something ridiculous like 300 plus markers.
Now, listen to me straight. Remember, I tell you what you need to hear, not want to hear. I don't care what doctor you find, what blood markers they've given you, what a kind of polypharmacy they're doing. When you're this fat, it's not healthy. It's dramatically shortening your life. And so you can scour the earth until you find a doctor that's going to tell you what you want to hear. And that is, oh, you're perfectly healthy. But if you want a true doctor, they're going to say, Eddie, you're 350 pounds.
Can't listen to much more. So, you know, I'm going to Phil Richards, who's he's not even a doctor. He's just a good guy that's got a good understanding of how the body should be under a peak performance. You know, he knows what the marker should be for peak performance. And that's what I'm after for this fight. I'm after peak performance. I'm not after a guy to sit there and tell me I'm healthy. I'm after a guy to sit there with what I've got, which is a 350 pound frame right now, and give me markers to be healthy, be fit, be strong, have longevity. You know, as far as I'm aware, Phil did not sit there and say you are 100% healthy, or, you know, you don't not need to lose weight, or you do need to lose weight. Phil knows I'm not going to change my body weight on what he says. I'm there to talk with Phil about, you know, what the diet's done to my blood work from previous blood tests, and that's basically it. So again, Greg just making up shit to suit his narrative.
Men who are 350 pounds plus don't live into their 80s and 90s. And so if you want to be healthy, you need to lose weight, and no, not just 20 pounds, a lot more. And what do you think the easiest way to do that is? To stop taking steroids.
You are not going to live into your 80s and 90s weighing 350 pounds. I'm well aware of that. I'm 37 at the minute. I've got a lot more to achieve. You know, I'm doing a fight against Marius in a month's time. I want to do a bodybuilding show at some point. Just once, just to see how I fare and how I look on stage. I think that'd be fun. Arm wrestling is something I want to get into. And then, you know, as I age and just relax a bit more, of course that body weight will come down to well under 300 pounds, I am sure. So I'm not naive enough to think I can stay at 350 forever. I don't need Coach Squeaky Head here to fucking tell me otherwise.
Telling you, he's taking steroids. He's not natural. Describe how a man can cut out fruits and vegetables from his diet, just eat a carnivore diet, and put on 16 pounds of muscle while training for MMA. Now, listen.
Just stop you there, Greg. It went from, you said 14, you said you put 14 pounds of muscle on at the start of the video, now it's 16.
You managed to put on 14 pounds of muscle.
And I'm pretty sure in the video, I said it's right here actually, it's right here, 2 seconds. So my lean mass on day one, going off the calipers, was 122 kilo, okay? 122.4. My lean mass at day 90 was 122.9. So I put half a kilo on of lean mass. It's a pound. Where's it getting 16 pounds from? Who the said 16 pounds? Why the are you lying out of your fucking arse, Greg?
I'm not saying he's not physically fit, as in he's functional. He can box, he can fight, he can swim. The guy is an elite athlete. But I'm telling you, just because you're an elite athlete doesn't mean that you're healthy on the inside. And if you're 350 pounds plus, you're not healthy. How can a DEXA scan be accurate?
That's bullshit. And it's just saying DEXA scan's not going to be accurate. An elite athlete, right, let's break that down. So an elite athlete, like I train a minimum of 10 hours a week with cardio, weights, swimming, whatever else. I'm sorry, but that compared to the general public, that's fitter and healthier than 99% of the population. It is. I don't give a f what weight you are. If you're doing that amount of cardio and keeping fit, you're an elite athlete and you're in good shape. So I don't need Greg to fucking sit there and say you're not fit, it's not good for you. Look, man, body weight aside, it is. You know, if you're fit, you're fit. That's it, end of story. And he's going on about the DEXA scan now that I don't fit in the machine. Yeah, the DEXA scan is designed for a normal-sized human being. And I'm not a normal-sized human being, you know? I'm a bit of a genetic freak, a giant, if you will. Not like the Fours and the Brian Shaws, whatever else, but I'm a giant of the world. And a bit like airplane seats, sometimes they're just not designed for normal people. And the DEXA scan, I think with this, they measured half my body. The DEXA scan's pretty accurate of just like doubling the other half and getting a full reading. The body weight was absolutely spot on, so they got the right. So as far as I'm concerned, it's as accurate as they can get. I'm not going to say the DEXA scan's 100% accurate, it's not. But it's there to give you a good idea, you know, a good reading. And that's exactly what we got from this.
Literally don't fit in the DEXA scan. With these large individuals, these machines, they don't guess very well. And in particular, when body parts don't fit inside the machine, how could it be accurate?
And then I'm also training for an MMA fight / boxing fight against Mariusz Podnowski.
And so he's ramped up his training, his cardiovascular conditioning, MMA fighting, weightlifting, arm wrestling, and everything. Well, he's gotten stronger while in a calorie deficit. Remember, he's lost body fat, he's on a carnivore diet, he's dieting and getting stronger.
Again, just to suit your narrative, Greg, it was a diet, yes, but in terms of calories, I was probably eating more calories. I was like, as you see in the video, if you watch the video, I'm doing sort of 8,000 calories a day, but my body fat has come down. You can visually see that. And with that amount of fats that you're eating, absorbing, you're gonna have loads of energy. And it's a pretty studied thing. People go on the carnivore diet, they get stronger because you're eating that much more protein, you're repairing, you know. And I'm actively, training for a fight, I'm actively wanting to get stronger. So yes, I'm going to be pushing the weights a bit harder.
He's not as young as he once was. He certainly doesn't have newbie gains, and so explain that. How is he getting stronger than he has been in years while on a diet, putting on muscle, and you all just sit back and say, oh, it's got to be the carnivore diet?
This is what I look like. I'll say one thing, right? I've changed nothing. Since World's Strongest Man 2017, I have changed nothing. The only thing I changed for this 90 days was my diet. Nothing else changed. 3 months ago, and just a bit chubby.
Now remember, Eddie Abu has abs. He has them with.
Did you just call me Eddie Abu? Oh, I think because he's called out Eddie Abu's bullshit before, and Eddie Abu is big on the carnivore diet. So I think he's just dropped a bombshell there. I think he's just got a hard on for anyone that's pro carnivore and he wants to stamp on him.
That way I could play the dominant predator.
I mean, Jesus, I am not a 50-year-old black man. I'm sorry, I'm not. Come on, Greg.
The heart, it doesn't really care all that much whether that body mass that you have is in forms of muscle or if it's in forms of fat.
That's bullshit. I'm sorry, that's f***ing bullshit. Just fucking shut the f*** up, Greg. Jesus Christ, dude, like f*** off.
I don't know about you, but abs is definitely the number one thing you notice.
In the before, you let your stomach out, and in the after, you flex it. How hard is this? You stick the gut out, breathe out, and in the after, you breathe in. That is the difference that we're seeing.
In my opinion, like...
I'll pause it here. So on the back photo here, like, just look at how thinner the waist is, right? There's a little bit more definition on the shoulders, the traps, like more defined. You can evidently see that little bulge on my shoulder just before the tricep kicks out. You can evidently see that the body is more cut. You can evidently see that it's lost body fat. And that was the aim of this diet for me. It was just to lose a bit of body fat.
And when you've only lost 20 pounds and you see a big difference, it's because you've added a lot of muscle. And it's from steroids.
I mean, but we've just been over that. I added half a kilo of muscle. I mean, that's the evidence there. So I've lost 9 kilo, but I look bigger. And my strength, and I honestly can't say this enough, my strength has gone through the roof.
Read between the lines.
Shoulder pressing 100 kilo dumbbells, hurt me tricep doing it, but I did it.
When you're on performance-enhancing drugs, the risk of injury, it's that much more. And why? Because you're getting stronger more quickly than you should be. The muscles, they get stronger while the tendons and ligaments, they struggle to keep up. And so Eddie Hall, because of steroids, that's how he tore his triceps.
Or, Greg, I had Ian Bibby over, who's the best log presser, overhead presser on the planet, training shoulders with him. I wanted to keep up as best as I could. We both pressed 100 kilo dumbbells. I pressed them for 2 reps. He pressed them for 1 rep. And for me, that was magical that I could keep up with one of the strongest people on the planet still. And unfortunately, yeah, I tore my tricep, and I'm sorry. You know, I haven't pressed that kind of weight for years and years and years and years, and stupidly got carried away. The ego took over during the session, and I wanted to keep up with Bibby. And yeah, I did it and tore my tricep. It is not because of steroids, you absolute fucking tool. Considering I'm not training for strength, I'm MMA fighting at the minute, my strength is through the roof.
Imagine if I said, hey guys, I stopped lifting weights, I'm focused on just cycling. But hey, I took 3 months off the gym, I went back to the gym, and I'm stronger in all my lifts. And oh, by the way, I'm up 16 pounds of muscle.
Where the f*** has he got 16 pounds of muscle from? My life.
Oh, I say Turkesterone is way stronger than creatine, but I doubt it's going to add on 16 extra pounds of muscle in only 90 days. 16 pounds is a lot, and it's certainly not going to come from switching diets.
Okay, he's pushing a product there called Turkesterone. Don't know what that is. I don't really care. I just know a man that would sell fake counterfeit steroids in the hundreds of thousands of dollars worth at some time, probably ruining people's lives, livers, whatever else. I just know I would not trust a single fucking word that comes out of that man's mouth. In fact, let's see if Greg Doucette, the Turkesterone scandal got deeper. Oh, my response to Greg Doucette. It seems as though he's upset somebody here, and they've decided to do something to call him out. Oh, it's a transcript of his video, so let's just... Well, here we go. Unfortunately, we look at Greg's actions. Yeah, charged with possessing, importing, trafficking, and distributing steroids. And then there was the whole thing about the Turkesterone you're selling. Independent lab work, not actually containing Turkesterone.
He's at it again!
No, I haven't said anything. I'm not throwing any accusations here. This guy has basically said an independent lab has looked at his product and there is no Turkesterone in the product. Like I said, how the could you trust a single word that comes out of a drug dealer that sells fake drugs? Let's get back to the video. Point made. The strongest I've been for the last, I don't know, 4 years?
I mean, do I need to keep piling on the evidence? Saying Eddie Hall jumped on a cycle, that's a stretch. Does anyone doubt me? Oh, and for the Turkesterone, yeah, you know by now.
I doubt you. I doubt you massively about there's any Turkesterone actually in that product.
The Turkestanica plant. Other companies, well, let's just say they're lying. Of course they're lying.
Longevity and sustainability, that's the main thing.
The diet made me feel so good. It was such an amazing diet. I just can't stick to it anymore.
It's not what I said though. I said the diet was amazing. It made me stronger. The whole purpose of doing the diet for 90 days was to record the results and show them to you guys, which I did. And then after talking to Phil Richards, who does my blood work, you know, I suggest you put some fruits, some vegetables back in, and that's the advice I'm taking, you know? It wasn't just, let's do this diet forever and ever. It's like, it was a trial thing. I wanted to see what it did for me, my strength, how I felt, and how it looked under the microscope.
The diet that you can follow is the diet that you can stick to for the rest of your life. I've already came up with the diet. It's a circle diet. It has saying I'll never eat a fruit or a vegetable or have anything tasty ever again aside from milk, eggs, steak, and cheese. Probably not going to be a diet you're going to follow for life.
And I enjoy fruit. I enjoy vegetables. I think little portions of them isn't going to do me any harm.
I'm pretty sure that when you weigh 350, you can handle more than little portions of fruit and vegetables. Oh, I could eat 4 asparagus. I don't think that would hurt me. Bro, you could eat an entire rainforest. You're not going to gain any weight. Little bit. What's he going to do? Have a small apple? Cut it in half, mommy. I only want half the apple. It's Eddie freaking Hall.
I thrive. I feel so much better eating fats than... I've got to say that. I'm just going to stop the video here. I've never wanted to punch a man in the face so much in my life just from the f***ing sound of their voice. Continue.
Had he ever thought that it was from eating 8,000 to 10,000 calories a day of cheesecake? I don't like carbs, I like fats, says the man that eats sugar. Tons of sugar. There's a big difference between eating a carrot, asparagus, and a kiwi than eating a cheesecake.
That's dirty, Greg, that's dirty. Like, you've just said I'm eating nothing but cheesecake and sugar and then used a video of me eating sugar. It's just dirty, man. It's just dirty. Like, I could say you eat nothing but cheesecake and just keep playing a video of you eating cheesecake on repeat. Dirty tactics.
And so if you cut out the shit food, I guarantee you'd feel better. And is it actually the fact that you cut out all those food groups that make you feel better? Or maybe the fact you're on steroids?
Oh, Greg. Did you just say a fact? Maybe the fact. F-A-C-T. You're on steroids. Oh, that's... You've got to be careful saying shit like that, sunshine. Stating facts. I'll tell you what is a fact. It's a fact that Greg is a dirty snake, oil-selling drug dealer who cannot be trusted. That's a fact. It's been proven time and time again. Cod liver oil and whatever else.
Eddie Abu for breakfast is having...
Call me Eddie Abu again. Again, he's got such a hatred for anyone that's on this carnivore diet. He's just mixing up people. He doesn't care who's attacking. He's just attacking. Because it doesn't suit his narrative of selling anabolic coot books and fake gear. So he's just throwing shit constantly. Anyway.
Having 200 grams of salmon. Now, I mean, compared to any diet that he's been on in the past, does anyone not think this is healthy? Of course it's going to be healthy. He's eating salmon. And he says, you know, I'm big on the anti-aging. Everything I do, it's about living longer. Except I'm not going to cut out the steroids. I mean... What?
Again, Greg, like we just looked at that article earlier, you advocate steroids. You advocate them for certain things, and you know it's dirty tactics, mate. You're saying you're on X, Y, and Z. You have no clue.
Are we cutting out the low-hanging fruit? There are things that we can do, low-hanging fruit, that are the easiest things to do that'll make the biggest difference. Which do you think is going to help him live longer? Cutting out fruits and vegetables or cutting out steroids? Take your pick. And so does anyone think that if he were to
say, look how beautiful my daughter is there.
The rest of his family and he had some of those blueberries, that would shorten his life? Or perhaps maybe it's the testosterone.
Did eat the blueberries though, Greg.
Raspberries, blueberries.
I'm eating them right now.
He's now adding in the blueberries. Thank goodness. He's got some antioxidants and his meal calories are 675. If he had started his diet on this, remember, that diet's over. The carnivore diet's over. The experiment is over. It worked. If he had started with...
Wow, he just acknowledged that it was an experimental diet. First time he's done it. Okay.
This diet... One think he wouldn't have lost even more weight?
While I was on the carnivore diet, I lost...
Yeah, I genuinely believe I probably wouldn't have lost as much weight if I had it in the berries and whatever else. Because I'm on that diet now and I've definitely put a little bit more weight on. So.
Lost my voice at one point and we put that down to acid reflux.
And the diet was perfect, never had any problems whatsoever except for acid reflux and I lost my voice. But no problems.
Again, to suit his narrative, he just took something completely out of context. I was eating too much yogurt at night time, which was causing acid reflux, which made me lose my voice a little bit. And I just cut back on the yogurt at night time and that fixed that. So that wasn't really a problem with the diet, it was the problem with the timing of when I ate my Greek yogurt. But I do say that in the whole video, but again, it's just took things out of context to suit his narrative. As far as it isn't just fucking steroids.
I've had no problem with the diet.
But he says that was just from eating too much yogurt. Hey, if it's part of the diet and it caused the problem, then that was the problem.
The only fruits I'm eating are only berries. So raspberries, blueberries, because they are the least carb heavy and they've got the most antioxidant.
And so he's left in raspberries into this new diet because they're least carb heavy. And so carbs, they're the enemy. And so as long as I don't eat carbs, mainly from raspberries and so on, I got it made. It's not the carbs, it was the cheesecake and the shit, the pastries, the massive portions. Guys, Eddie, you can eat a banana and not have a problem. Let me know in the comments section, would you not want Eddie Hall to get Turkesterone and GO2 Max from his favorite team?
Absolutely not. Not now I've read up about the independent lab testing and all your snake gear oil you've been selling in the past. 100% nobody wants to touch that shit.
Favorite T-plug. The actual product that works, not the scam bullshit. Not people pretending to have it. You have to prove
the fucking irony of this guy's calling up a people's fucking scam and his product's amazing after everything we've just fucking seen. irony.
Seats. So if you want our Turkesterone, click the link in description. Hopefully Ality Hall can decrease the doses of performance-enhancing drugs and perhaps try some that are legal. Some that won't cause you to fail a drug test. We don't want anyone to suffer a heart attack, stroke, and have any of the problems that can come from being...
Oh, jeez. I've got to admit, guys, that was a f***ing hard watch. That was like, how long was that f***ing video? That was 16 minutes. That was a 16-minute long video. It felt like 16 f***ing years. I feel like it's taken 16 years off my life. I could have eaten 1,000 million f***ing cheesecakes, and it still wouldn't took as much of my life as listening to that squeaky, horrible f***ing voice for 16 minutes. Greg Doucette does not need to go on a diet, because like his f***ing voice must burn 2,000 calories a minute. How f***ing high and screeched it is. I'm gonna have to go have a lie down. Maybe a piece of cheesecake, maybe some blueberries. I think I'm gonna Google a little bit more about Greg Doucette and his dirty, horrible, snaky past. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the roast of Greg Doucette. Sorry, Greg Doucette. Nothing personal, Greg, as you say. Nothing personal. I just thought I'd give you a little bit of dose of your own medicine, mate. And I hope when we meet in the future, we can just shake hands and be pals. You know, because I'm not two-faced. I'll be exactly as I am now, straight to your face, buddy. And I hope you are the same. I hope you're the same, because I don't like two-faced people. Everyone hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Big love the beast. Take care.
How you doing, Rex?